Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, we'll continue with our book reading this morning. The Toyota Way to Service Excellence by Jeffrey K. Liker and Karen Ross. And we're in chapter 6, we said macro level people principle. Yesterday, in principle 10, we looked at organize to balance the deep expert and customer focus. And under it, we looked at the challenge of organizational design. Looked at the challenge of organizational design. Now, book reading yesterday, it defined what an organization is. It told us what an organization is. It said organization is a process. An organization is also a map that helps to guide us in a place that we want to go to. That it provides a rough map of reporting relationship and who works together. So it defined as a map that gives names of places and names of location. Today, on page 236, we'll be looking at common types of organizational design. Common types of organizational design. We have the functional organization. That as Frederick Taylor was working to develop scientific management at the micro level of individual workers, there were similar efforts to develop a scientific approach to macro level organizational design. One of the leading figures in this body of work was Henry Fayol, who worked his way up as a mining engineer to become the managing director of a large mining company. He retired and became a scholar, writing about what he learned as an executive. He approached the task as a scientist and developed 14 principles of management. Sound familiar? Like Taylor, he was searching for the one best way to organize. He found it in traditional command and control principles such as unity of command, that is, subordinate receives order from one and only one boss. Authority, power to give orders and exact obedience. Division of work, organized by specialty. Fayol did not allow for some flexibility in the application of principles depending on the situation. Nonetheless, the organizational design that arose from his principle was the command and control. Command and control functional organization. This is still with us today in most large organizations. The functional organization puts people together by purported experts, all the accountants under an accounting boss, all the architects under the managing architect, and so on. The idea is to build expertise and exercise control. The accountants will share practices and learn from each other. The accountant boss will know what the individual accountants are supposed to do and how they are performing. In a command and control environment, perhaps the latter is more important. Knowing enough to control the people who report to you. The problem is that departments become like little castles with moats around them, fighting for resources to take home and defend against other functional groups. People focus on climbing the functional ladder, and in many cases, in this organizational structure, the poor customer seems to be an afterthought. There is a huge amount of waste between departments, and there are often a competing priority between functions. Customer-facing organization, which is another type of organizational design. So to become customer-focused, we often see organizations flip from a functional to a product organization. In order to do this, They define product or service groups and create vice president or director positions that might even have profit and loss accountability. They might split up customer bases by commercial versus private home offices, regions, or size. There are endless ways to slice and dice the customer base. The point is for all the specialty functions that are needed for a customer base to align towards customer service. At the same time, the organizations may be passed into smaller organizations that run like mini businesses with accountable leaders who think and act like CEOs. This might also be thought of as organizing around value stream. Metrics organization, another common type of organizational design. The customer facing organization or organizing by value stream seems like the ideal structure. Yet we have seen cases where it limits people's development. Consider Chrysler. Consider Chrysler before it was taken over by Daimler. Chrysler made dramatic improvements in the appeal of its vehicle by transforming product development from a purely functional organization to a product organization that the company called platform teams. The company was reorganized around a set of platforms: large cars, small cars, trucks, minivans, jeeps. It built a brand new R&D center in the Auburn Hill, Michigan, arranged so hundreds of engineers representing all the functional groups could sit on the same floor of the building to develop vehicles for a common platform. Chrysler even had financial analysis and purchasing representatives assigned to the team. It literally erased the functional organization and replaced the customer-facing platform teams, leading to a rapid boost to the desirability of company vehicle and sales. Unfortunately, as time went on, Chrysler realized it was losing functional depth. Engine engineers were not learning from each other. Body engineers were not learning from each other, and so forth. The company tried technology clubs so that functional groups could compare best practices, but they rarely met and it did not work. People focused on where their core work was and on the people they reported to. After about a decade, the company began to shift towards metric organization. Toyota has used metric organization for decades. In product development, the functional group, like body engineering and chassis engineering, reports to a general manager within their technical specialty. The general manager is responsible for developing engineers with deep technical skills, assigning them to projects and doing their performance review. The engineers work on development projects, reporting to a chief engineer for a vehicle like Camry. The chief engineer is the CEO of that vehicle program and is, in essence, renting the engineers as contractors. Although the chief engineer works to develop the engineers as well. The chief engineer does not want to be distracted by personnel administration issues. This reporting structure works extremely well in large parts because of mutual respect between chief engineer and general manager of the function. The chief engineer trusts the general manager to provide highly developed engineers, and the general manager sees the chief engineer as the most important customer. In this way, metric organizations seem to be the best of both worlds, and they can be seen all over Toyota. Okay, this is where we're going to stop for our reading this morning. talking about the common types of organizational design. So this morning we looked at functional organization, looked at customer facing organization, and metrics organization. Under the functional organization developed by Henry Fayol, we have unity of command, we have authority, we have division of work. So depending on the kind of principle, depending on the kind of processes you have at your company, whether it's a large firm or a small firm, you have to choose the type of organizational design that will be effective for things to flow, for work to flow in your company. So far, as we've read in this book, metrics organization can be used in any organization. Why? Because it is customer focused. Like he said the customer facing organization. So define a metrics organization as a customer facing organization where everyone has to answer to somebody. There's a hierarchy of authority in this organization that makes the work flow easily. And industries that use this kind of organization are Chrysler, Camry, and Toyota. So metrics organization can be applied in any industry or in any organization, whether as a large firm or as a small firm. So as we go further, it defines department as a castle, and it defines it as people focus functional ladder, where you're just focused on the people without bringing customers into consideration. So here in this kind of organization that is under functional organization, customers come as an afterthought, and there's always a huge amount of waste between departments. There's no free flow of communication, there's no free flow of information, and nobody is learning from each other. There's no hierarchy of authority, and nobody is learning from anybody. Unlike the metrics organization, where there is this learning and improvement across each department and everybody. So that's a brief summary of our reading this morning. Thank you.